My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Every single week, we break down full UFC fight cards. We give you our predictions, our bets, and our fantasy plays. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our content. And this video is brought to you by BETU Play to Earn. BETU Play to Earn is the world's first online sports and esports betting game. Check it out now at betuearn.com. That's bet, the letter U, earn.com. Opening up the card, we have Tafon Nchukwi taking on Azamat Murzakanov. Tafon Nchukwi is 9-3 overall. He's 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off a decision win over Mike Slow Rodriguez, where he more than doubled Mike's strikes. And Azamat Murzakanov is 9-4 overall. He's 5-0 in his last 5. He's coming off a Contender Series knockout in August. And this is Tafon's second fight up at light heavyweight. He's a good technical striker. He has legit power in his hands. He has solid technique. His issue sometimes is volume and speed. Obviously, I mentioned he doubled Mike Slow Rodriguez's volume in that fight, but that's not a typical fight for Tafon, because when he is in a rhythm, he is absolutely in a rhythm and lets his hands go. But sometimes it's hard for him to find that rhythm, and he'll just do pop shots here and there instead of really tying things together. And he isn't just a striker. He got 3 takedowns in that fight against Rodriguez, and he had 5 full minutes of control time. Azamat Murzakanov, he's not the biggest light heavyweight in the division, but he makes up for that physical stature with legit power. He's fast. He's heavy-handed. He's a very good wrestler. He's got solid ground and pound, but his hands are so good that he doesn't even use his wrestling that often. He had a great Contender Series win in the summer, but has had a bad run of luck since then. He's had 3 different fights booked. All 3 of them have been canceled because his opponent has pulled out. And on paper, it's a really fun fight because on paper, you theoretically have 2 guys here that you expect to bang it out. But I actually think Azamat's going to go to his wrestling here. He has a wrestling background. He's a very capable wrestler. And I think he's going to go to the wrestling because Tafon is dangerous on the feet. And Tafon definitely has more high-level experience. And I do expect him to be more composed in this fight. But when the pressure is on him, he does tend to back up. He loses his volume. He slows down a bit. And I think Azamat, and he's got that just cement brick of a head, I think he's just going to come forward, back Tafon up, go to his wrestling. And we haven't really seen that in the UFC yet, but he does have it. I see him coming forward, throwing big, heavy bombs, wrestling, and just Tafon's never going to find that rhythm. So the pick is Azamat. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I think that you need to make a note real quick that Azamat is 10-0, not 9-4 in the graphic there, sir. But I will also mention, too, do you know how to swim? Just a quick question.
Like a dolphin.
Okay. Well, that's good because we're about to dive in to the record of Azamat right here because the guy is 10-0, and it looks great. So, I think he's got 7 first-round finishes. But as we dive in, this is what we find, my friends. A first-round finish against a guy that's 14-7, okay? That was the Dana White Contender Series thing. Then he's got a 14-4 record, which looks good, but that's a 170-pounder that he knocked out first round. And then the records are as follows. 0-5, 4-18, 1-7, 5-5, and 0-1. And then he's got a couple decision wins versus 6-8 and a 10-6 guy. Listen, I think this guy's good. He's all power. I agree. He's got the wrestling in his back pocket, but he really does just kind of sit, and throw just wild overhand rights. The guy's never really I think he's seen 1 third-round decision, a lot of first-round finishes. Tafon's a guy, when I watch his striking, I love that he goes to the body, especially in this matchup. He will go to the body with punches and kicks, and I think against Azamat, if he goes there early and is able to withstand the big power from Azamat and the wrestling, I think he can tire this out. I think he can drag this out. Tafon is a powerful guy, but he can also win decisions. In the first matchup here, I'm going with the underdog Tafon in this matchup. I just don't think Azamat is as good as advertised. I think he's all power, and if he doesn't get it, maybe he relies on the wrestling this time, but I think Tafon's got the experience to do this.
I mean, opening the card really sets the tone for the rest of the card. A lot of these fights could go either way, like a ton of them. I think Azamat, he's definitely got the power in his hand. He is fast, and he has the wrestling, where Tafon is just so hit or miss. He has fights, he goes out there, he just straight up does not show up half the time. His hands are slow, he's not really doing anything, he's not comfortable. And Azamat's the type of guy that can make you uncomfortable because he can come forward. You have to worry about the wrestling, worry about the hands. So I like Azamat. You're on the other side, and I'm assuming you love Tafon at $7,400 in DraftKings then.
There's a lot of underdogs that I like on this card, to be honest with you. So I don't know if I don't feel great about him. It's not like a super confident pick in Tafon. I just think that he's able to withstand what Azamat has. And I love that Tafon loves the clinch too. So if there's a grappling exchange where he's tough to take down and they end up in the clinch, that's where Tafon can do a lot of his damage, just throwing inside the clinch. A lot of those body shots, I just think they add up, but I don't think I'd play him at DraftKings.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with DraftKings is going to be very interesting this week. There's going to be some people like the ideal lineup may have like $2,000 left over. It's a crazy week. I like Azamat, and I may like him enough to put in my lineup because there are not a lot of people at that high 80s to 9,000 mark that I'm very confident in. Azamat is one of them because of the wrestling, but he does have to go to it. Monkey Knife Fight Strike Line, I do think it's a more and more. I don't think somebody's getting put out very quickly. I think there's more and more. I think both these guys will have their moments in the fight. I think it's Azamat's toughest fight for sure. And I think, in those grappling exchanges, Tafon, the little pitter-patter trying to defend takedowns may make it happen. What do you think of the Monkey Knife Fight line? Last week we said more and more and everything, and I'm pretty sure it was more and more and everything. What do you think here?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of fights on this card where I kind of want to look at bets because I think they're kind of like trap fights where you look at these two guys, you look at Tafon, you look at Azamat, you see all the first round finishes, and you're like, oh, I think this is definitely inside the distance. Where I think this could be an over, whether they put it at 1.5 or even 2.5. I think this could be a decision fight. So I like them more and more in that regard.
Yeah, so I think we're aligned there. And if you want to align yourself with $50 free, go to, it was a solid transition. Go to wewantpicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our 5 betting partners. Make a deposit. Let us know after you do, and I send you $50. It is all right there on the website, tracked and ready to go. wewantpicks.com/bets.